What it do, what it do? How y'all feeling? Welcome to Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I. So, we talking to y'all. Yes! Alright, Piers Morgan had Muhammad Hijab and Alan Dershowitz on the show to debate the, October 7th and the Israeli Hamas conflict, right? We'll call it conflict. It's a genocide. But we'll get to that later, right? So, I guess we were commemorating, I guess. Not celebrating, but, October 7th happened exactly a year ago yesterday. Today's the 8th. And I guess, people were reflecting on the time and what they thought about, a year later. Did Israel go too far? Did Hamas cause a terrorist attack that should be, eradicated or celebrated? That's just the thing. So, we're going to go ahead and... Sorry. The video had me dying. Because it was a 2-on-1, obviously. Piers Morgan, he can't control his bias. He just can't. But Muhammad Hijab, I think he had some missed opportunities. But on purpose. I think he did it on purpose. He didn't want to, he was trying to come with some facts, but he was ready to just throw blows. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and...
The events of the past year have shattered stability in the Middle East. Israel's war on Hamas, provoked by the atrocities of October the 7th, have led to the deaths of tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians. Prime Minister Netanyahu promised total victory and the complete destruction of Hamas. But 1 year on, Hamas is still firing rockets at Tel Aviv. 1 year on, 97 hostages remain in Hamas captivity. Very clearly, Israel's not fulfilled its stated aims in this war. Nope. It continues to add new ones. It's now at war in Lebanon and on the precipice of a direct conflict with Iran. It has no plausible exit strategy in Gaza, where millions live in grief and under occupation. But it has, without question, decimated Iran's client militias. Hezbollah, the jewel in Iran's crown, has been decapitated. The question is whether that...
How? See, they say that. They say that a lot. Oh, Iran's proxy groups are crippled. We got them. They can't do shit no more. Hezbollah, they're beheaded. Okay. So why are so many troops North Israel are being killed? It's just seeing like the IDF had like 20 dead soldiers in Beirut or sorry, let's just say northern Israel, South Lebanon. There's just some Hamas rockets the other day. You guys are still, the IDF is still having operations in northern Gaza, where they said all that shit was done. So when you hear shit like that, and we all know the Houthis is fucking them up in the sea. When you hear shit like this, you just have to ask yourself, well, if Iran's groups are getting smacked, then why are y'all so adamant about responding back? I don't know.
Makes the Middle East and the world a safer or a more dangerous place. Can it really be said that Israel is winning this war? How big will this war get? And how much collateral damage and suffering can the world tolerate before enough is enough? This debate will examine the legality, the morality, and the sustainability of the conflicts in the Middle East. Joining me are two of our most passionate advocates for their cause, the Muslim philosopher, scholar, and YouTuber Muhammad Hijab, and the lawyer and author Alan Dershowitz. Well, welcome to both of you. Muhammad, you've been on twice before, Alan many times. What I'd like this to be is a civilized debate between two people with very strong opinions about this, obviously very different opinions, where we try and reach potentially some points of agreement. Because so often with these debates, that seems almost impossible. Descends into a shouting match, everyone gets ad hominem, everyone digs ever deeper into their trench, their tribe, and we don't get anything constructive out of it.
Before they go, now, I agree. Every time you have these debates, you got the pro-Palestinians. They're just, they have their views. And then the pro-Israelis, they have their views, right? Everybody have their own different views, right? But one thing sticks out to me when I watch all these motherfucking interviews, right? The Israeli guests, they always interrupt. They don't never want the truth to be told live on air, because they used to be able to control the narrative, right? But now they can't. So every time somebody's speaking, they interrupt it quick. Shut up! Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right? So I say that because I think that was Muhammad Hijab's approach to this whole debate. I think he just wanted to do them like how they do everybody else.
I think you guys are smart enough to potentially, through spirited and passionate debate, agree about some stuff. And that is surely the first basis for how any of this eventually gets resolved. So let's hope for the best. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, as they say. Alan Dershowitz, let me start with you.
It's about to go down.
Israel, it seems to me, in the last 3 weeks, have massively ramped up their military offensive in a way that says to me that Prime Minister Netanyahu and his cabinet sense an opportunity to completely, in their eyes, sort out the Middle East problem once and for all, with Iran at the center of that problem. Is that how you see this?
Yes, I do. I see Iran as the head of the octopus, sending out its tentacles through the Houthis, through Hamas, through Hezbollah. The tragedy, as we celebrate's a bad word, commemorate October 7th, is that if Sinwar and Hamas had the opportunity to do it again, knowing everything that followed, knowing all the deaths and disasters in Gaza and in Lebanon, I think Hamas would do it again, would do October 7th again, because they think they've won. They've turned college and university students against Israel. They have solidified the United Nations opposition to Israel. They've divided Americans, particularly the Republican administrations in the past, from the current Democratic administration. So Hamas cannot be allowed to have a victory on growing out of October 7th.
Wow. You hear that? Alan feels like Hamas is getting the upper hand on the PR side, because we know they, the money I send is fucking them up. We get that, right? But they are winning on the PR side. And he said it. We can't let them win this shit. They turning Americans against each other. I think that question about October 7th, people don't even want to answer it for real. But did it work? Was it a smart plan? Was it a terrorist attack? What do y'all think, right? And you got to ask Alan Dershowitz, what do you think? Because nobody was talking about it prior to October 7th. I mean, I was, and a selected few. But the world is talking about it. Some people that were snatched up by Israel, thrown in their detention center, I call them hostages, they were, I guess, supposed to be there indefinitely. According to Israel, it was like, hey, we got all these detainees. I remember in the beginning, they said, hey, you give us one hostage, we'll give you 1,000 hostages. Like, how do you have that many? It used to fuck me up. But these motherfuckers is really like understanding that they're losing the PR battle. Because if Hamas didn't do what they did on October 7th, you wouldn't have released those prisoners that you wanted locked up indefinitely. They got some people home and they got the world to talk about it. Now look at y'all a year later.
Any more than ISIS should have been allowed to have a victory going out of 9/11. So I think.
But ISIS do. Sorry.
I think the answer is yes, a military defeat for Iran and its surrogates, and a peace process between Israel and Saudi Arabia with steps taken toward the recognition of a two-state solution, which is the only reasonable solution that will solve the problem. But remember that October 7th was stimulated by the desire to prevent Israel and Saudi Arabia from creating a peace process following up from the Abraham Accords. And unless that peace process continues, and unless Hamas is told, no, you failed, the world will not reward you for this, we're just going to see a continuation of the bloodshed in the Middle East, which does not serve the interests of the Palestinians nor the Israeli people.
Okay, Mohammed Hijab, your response to that?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that wherever we see suffering, wherever we see death and destruction, especially of young people, assault, sexual assault, we see Dershowitz to the rescue, the former defense attorney of Jeffrey Epstein, a man himself accused
I
of
knew
rape.
we would get to that. I knew. I
didn't give you permission to interrupt me. I didn't give you permission to interrupt me. I stayed quiet when you were talking.
Now we're seeing the
here's what
rule
I would
being
say.
I stayed
broken.
quiet when you were talking.
Hang on. Here's what I would
Let's stick
say.
to the merits.
I didn't
and
give you
not
permission
get to who I
to-
defended in
Listen,
the past.
Mohammed, attacking a lawyer
Yes.
for defending people is a stupid argument.
Well,
Right?
I'm not making it.
Wait a minute. How? See, I don't get that. I don't get that. Because there's this saying, like, you know, if you support somebody, then you share their views, their values. You do. That's just, you know, these are the people that we scream about endorsements. Like, if the KKK endorsed them, nah, I don't fuck with them, man. Get them out of here. They don't want to have nothing to do with them when it suits their fucking interests, right? They're like, hey, bro, don't associate me with that racist, right? But when Alan Dershowitz was supporting or defending Jeffrey Epstein, when in his heyday, when nobody was calling him out and he wasn't in the public eye for being who Jeffrey Epstein was, oh yeah, Alan Dershowitz was loving life. He was like, yeah, shit, I got one of the richest people as one of my clients. But now that everything came out about Jeffrey Epstein, he want to try to distance himself? Nigga, no. Stop it, bro. It appears you a piece of shit. Yeah, we can call that out. This is who you got as your Israeli supporter to speak for Israel? This... Should we call him an Epstein denier? There's some victims that Jeffrey Epstein had, and I think those people should come up with a name for Alan Dershowitz.
An argument yet.
Well, you're just using an ad
I'm not making an
hominem
argument.
attack straight off the top.
Has he got leverage on you? Is that
No,
why
he's a
you saw
brilliant
your
lawyer.
picture with Maxwell. He's got leverage on you.
He's a brilliant lawyer.
He's saying that because he's got leverage
I
on you.
met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch.
You look very happy with her.
Well, I didn't know anything about her at the
You look
time,
very
other
happy
than
with
she
her.
was the daughter of the man that
We're
owned-
talking about the
daughter
biggest
of the
sexual
man that,
scandal in the last 100
who I
years.
never met Jeffrey Epstein or ever knew him. Alan Dershowitz was wrongly accused of various things in relation to Jeffrey
How
Epstein.
do you know it's wrongly?
Because they've
Right.
all been
Why are you defending him?
They all turned out to be nonsense.
Has
He
he-
won a court case
Why are you
about
not looking
it.
at me when I'm speaking to you?
Well,
Right.
well, I can turn to you, but
Yeah.
there are three of us involved in this.
Yeah, you're speaking to me, so
Okay,
we're looking
let me
at
make
that.
things clear. I never met Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you look very happy in that picture.
Okay, if you want to use that as an ad hominem
No,
attack
but why
on
you-
me,
why you-
a
why-
picture
why are you
taken.
defending him?
Hang on, a
Why are you
picture
defending
taken
him?
in 2013.
He spoke for 3 minutes. I spoke for 20 seconds.
I'm defending him because your first attack on him is to attack him as a lawyer
Yeah.
because he defends bad people.
That's fine.
Here's a little secret for you, Mohammed.
I also
All
defend-
lawyers do that.
I've also
No, but hold on.
defended-
We're not talking about bad
I've
people. We're
also
talking about.
defended
Excuse
Bill
me.
Clinton.
Listen, you've had
I've
enough.
also defended
you've had
many
enough
good
speaking.
people.
I'm talking about a person who, after the fact, said that he was proud to defend him after the allegations come out. You still wanted to? Do you condemn Dershowitz
For what?
for defending
No, I
Epstein
have defended,
and being
I
proud
have
of defending
defended
Epstein?
Some
You
of the
defend
best.
It's not for me to
I have
defend
him for
him.
defended
that.
If it was the other way around and somebody on the opposing team, Piers Morgan, was defending someone with the record of Epstein, oh yeah, he'd be having the same kind of energy. But no, since it was his friend Alan Dershowitz that happened to be his lawyer, and yada yada yada, I don't condemn him.
Some
All
of
I
the
can
best
tell you is
people in the
condemn him.
world.
Okay,
I
Alan, you
I
defend
helped
yourself.
defend
No, why should he
Nelson
defend himself? I
Mandela.
haven't even
defend
spoken
himself.
for 20 seconds.
Alan can defend himself.
Well, let me speak for more
I
than
helped
20
to
seconds.
defend
I haven't made my
Nelson
point yet.
Mandela.
Well, let the nigga
I
talk.
helped to defend
It's a
Bill
2-on-1 now, is
Clinton.
it?
I've helped to defend some of the finest people in the
Yeah,
world,
well,
and I've also helped
John
to defend
Lennon,
some of the
he
worst.
defended. Is
I
that a
never
terrible
justified.
crime?
He was not
I've
proud
never
of defending John
justified
Lennon in the same way as he
anything any of
announced
my
that he was
clients
proud of
have done.
defending
I
Epstein.
am
What's this
proud
got to
of
do
my
with
role
Israel?
as a
This has got
defense
to do with the
lawyer.
fact that this
Just
man, I haven't heard condemnation from you, and I don't expect to hear it from him who defended Epstein.
Yep.
But this shows you the bias the bias in the coverage for a year, when we know the ICJ have said that there's a plausible genocide.
You haven't been watching my show.
I think I have.
No, you haven't.
Have you spoken about me?
You're talking complete bullshit.
Okay, tell me why.
Right?
Tell me why.
Because, A, I did condemn what you've just talked about in a previous debate.
Good.
Right?
Dershowitz, do you condemn it?
Yes, of course. I condemn any rape of anybody in any assault.
They don't condemn that shit. They saying that shit now because everybody came out with it. Now that these motherfuckers are known. They known for years that they fucking doing all this crazy shit in the Israeli detention centers. They know that shit. Motherfuckers been crying about that for years. And every time they bring it to anybody, a PLO, Israeli authority, they'll write to the UN. It's like it falls on deaf ears, bro. We don't care, nor do we believe you. We don't think these IDF soldiers are doing this kind of shit to innocent Palestinians. You don't believe it. Now that there's video evidence of it, they're like, oh, I condemn it. Yeah, fuck. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because most of the people in Israel, they started fucking rioting to get them people out of jail. And then once one of the rapists got out of jail, this nigga became a celebrity. He was on talk shows and shit. Like you guys, I don't know, they glorify that shit. I don't know. Or I wouldn't even say glorify it. They're apologists for them doing it. They don't think it's wrong. And we ain't even gonna get on the predator registry.
Assault on anybody who's in captivity.
And you also condemn the right of rape protest that took place in Israel. And you acknowledge that there's a problem in Israel with this.
Place, they will be investigated. They will be fully investigated. They will be court-martialed.
Do you acknowledge that there's a problem in Israeli society?
And if anybody is convicted of that, they deserve their punishment.
Do you acknowledge that there's a problem in
What about the problem with Hamas? Raping women?
Boom. There it is. What about Hamas? What about Hamas? What about Hamas? Bro, hey, let's literally talk about what the fuck is going on. We're talking about IDF soldiers right now. Raping innocent Palestinians. Yes, they're innocent. Why? Because a lot of them were released in order to tell their story. So for you to hear this kind of atrocity being done to Palestinians, you're like, yeah, but what about Hamas? Hamas wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Israeli atrocities. Come on, man. You know this already.
I have no compunction.
October the 7th.
I have no compunction condemning Hamas for anything that they've done. You've said that. You've asked me before, and I've told you before. I have no moral scruple. Neither do the majority of the Muslim world. I tell you now, anything that Hamas has done, we have condemned in the first instance. But we're not seeing the same level of coverage with Hamas as we are seeing with these people that are shoving rods off people's ass and raping people on videographic evidence. And you have 3,000 people, you talk about the hostages, you've got 3,000 people in essentially captivity, according to Human Rights Watch and B'Tselem, who are prisoners of war of Israel, and we are spending a fraction of the time speaking about them as compared to speaking about the hostages. This shows you the inherent bias.
Well, there's no comparison. There's no comparison between innocent hostages who did nothing wrong and people who are being charged with criminal offenses.
They're not charged with criminal offenses. That's why you're meant to know better. You're meant to know better than that.
But they are charged with security offenses. But you
can't
compare.
They are arrested without charge.
You can't compare a 3-year-old baby.
They're not charged with criminal offenses.
Don't shout over each other. We can't hear the answer.
He's lying to the public.
Allow him to respond.
To somebody who's a member of Hamas.
He's lying to the public. This nigga.
Say that
Sorry,
again.
Adam, we couldn't hear because he was shouting.
I was shouting. Say it again.
He says the 3,000.
You can't compare
Alan, he
a
says the
3-year-old baby.
Alan, just to be clear, he said the 3,000 people he's talking about were all arrested without charge, and therefore they've not been charged with crimes. Your response to that?
Well, if they were, they should be released. Nobody should be arrested without charge. If you're held for a security reason,
pathetic.
I will say what I want. It's uncensored.
Let me make my point.
Try and have a proper debate.
I'll say what I like.
Can I make my point? Let me make my point. Great Britain confined tens of thousands of people without charges during the Second World War.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
I was strongly opposed.
Let's talk about what Hitler done.
Let me make my point. I'm opposed to that. I wrote an article against
Good boy.
administrative detention. But you
Good.
can't compare that, no
Good.
matter how
Can you
bad
stop
it
this,
is.
Mohammed? It's
You
very
can't
very
compare it
tedious already.
to 3-year-olds being
Debate it.
kidnapped, to people
listening to his
being
points.
raped and murdered. You can't compare what happened on October 7th to what Israel has done.
Yes, you
in
can't,
terms
because
of
on the
See, and yeah, I don't get that. If you can sit here and say you condemn it, you wrote columns about it, you disagree with it. Okay, what about the people that are actually suffering it? What are they supposed to do? Just wait for Allen to come to their rescue? Hey, Allen said y'all was tripping too. Look, he agreed with us. He don't think that was right. What? Allen, we don't give a fuck. You're not even thinking about the pain of the people that goes through this Israeli fucking detention center, bro. You don't care about it. You don't care. You can sit there and say, I disagree with it. I oppose it. But you don't understand what it brings out. You don't understand how it radicalized some innocent person, bro. So I don't give a fuck about you opposing it, because your opposition to their fucking actions is proof that the Palestinians have a reason to revolt.
On the one
security
hand,
prisoners.
you've got
There's
30,000
no
people, and the other hand, you've
comparison
got
at all.
about 100.
And stop
That's
interrupting
30
me,
times
please.
more. That's 30 times more. If you want us to take you seriously, if you want us to take this coverage seriously, if you want us to take Western media seriously, then let's, for God's sake, talk about proportionality as your favorite word. We're talking about 30,000 people detained in prisons on the one hand, and 100 people who are hostages. And yet we have managed somehow to spend way more time
Hang on,
proportionally.
you said 3,000 a minute ago. Which one is it? 3,000?
Sorry, 3,000.
But
Stand
not
corrected.
30,000.
Not 30.
Okay,
3,000.
Well, get your numbers right if you're going to make that claim.
Okay, I misspoke.
You exaggerated
Not a
10
problem.
times.
Not a problem.
There we go. See that? Look at the face. Oh my God. Look at these. This is why they're mad. You see this face? See this face? Look at these faces. Look at the faces of these colonizers, bro. They keep trying to come to brown land and take over. And when brown folks revolt, they like, oh, they're terrorists. They terrorists. Bro. Okay, he misspoke. Pierce, do you have anything to say about the 3,000? Or you don't give a fuck about them, you piece of shit? I don't think you give a fuck about nothing. You don't. Because when the motherfucker's sitting there saying, hey, man, there's 3,000 innocent Palestinians being locked up and dealing with some unspeakable things, that's his look. You got the number wrong. Yeah, whatever.
Problem. He spoke about Iran. Let me ask you a question
I'll
about
tell you what, let me ask the question.
Sure, go
and
ahead.
you guys try and
Go
debate
ahead.
it.
Go
At
ahead.
the moment, Alan Dershowitz is being very civilized in the way he's debating.
I'm sure you're going to say that.
You're just making
might have
ad
leverage
hominem
on you.
attacks and shouting all
He's
the
your
time.
friend.
No one can understand it when you
Have you
shout
met him
all the time.
before?
I know Alan well.
Oh, you know him well.
I respect him very much.
Oh, yes, you do.
He's one of America's top lawyers.
He's top lawyers.
Yeah.
Top
He is.
lawyers.
And you're an unbiased person here on Central.
An unbiased person about Alan Dershowitz. What?
Does he have leverage on you, Piers Morgan?
Ah,
There's no leverage on me, no.
You've got a picture with Maxwell.
Yes, we can lay
Did you go to the island?
No, I've never been to the island. I've never met Jeffrey Epstein.
Be honest.
I never spent more than 5 minutes with
Be
Ghislaine
honest.
Maxwell. I've answered you. So what part of that wants to...
Do you condemn him being on the island? He's your good friend.
You can ask
No,
Alan
I'm asking, do you
Dershowitz
condemn him?
about Jeffrey Epstein.
You had a massage.
He represented him.
He said he didn't take his shorts off.
Do you know what?
That's
None
what-
of
that's
this
what
has
he
got
said.
anything to do with Israel.
He said he didn't take his shorts off when he was getting a
Can you
massage.
stop, please, Mohammed?
Why is this uncomfortable?
It's nothing to do with the
He
debate.
didn't take his shorts off, but he's got his pants down now, hasn't he?
Can you stop it?
Why?
What's the point?
Why? He
'Cause it's
defended one of the
actually-
most obnoxious people in the last 100 years. Why should I
Because
stop it?
actually what is going
Right.
on right
Why should I
now
stop it?
in the
That
Middle
nigga need
East
all
is
the smoke.
incredibly important.
Yes,
You're
and you have this
trivialising-
man who's-
You are trivialising that. Well, if you didn't want to do a debate, don't agree to do it.
Who said I'm not doing a debate? I'm saying this person
So
who's
come on and
defending
make
Israel.
stupid ad hominem attacks is pathetic.
Oh, okay. All right. He's your good friend. You want to defend him so much.
What are you talking about?
You're defending him.
Huh?
You're defending him.
you are defending him, bro. If he has a code history that need to be called out as the defender of Israel, this is what you have. You have an Israeli defender and a Palestinian defender. And your defender literally defended, got paid, and hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, bro? And you act like that's like something we shouldn't talk about? Shut up, Pierce. You know what the fuck it is. You
defending a monster, a pervert, an old pervert.
He's not a pervert or a monster.
Why is he not? He knew Epstein, and for us, there's good influence.
Why are you doing this, Mohammed?
Why not?
Because it's pointless. You may get a few clicks
ask
on.
your questions.
You might get a few clicks on it. So what?
It's not.
Ask your questions.
Let me be very clear. It's not pointless. He just called me a pervert. He will be sued now for defamation, and we will be able to resolve this
opinion. In
a court of law. I guarantee you.
There you go. That's Alan shit. That's his shit. You heard a Jew, we'll sue, or some shit like that. Nigga, nobody give a fuck. Fuck you. You know goddamn well. And Discovery, you're going to have to prove that you're not a pervert. Right? Okay. Because remember, this is what your case is going to be about. He called me a pervert. I prove that you're not.
That he will be sued.
In
for
my
calling me
understanding, you are a pervert because you are acquainted with Jeffrey Epstein.
Has now withdrawn her.
Sure, I've got my own defamation cases. I know the law very well here.
That
you
she
can't
may
threaten
have
me.
confused me with somebody else.
Very well.
And
I
calling me
consider you to be a pervert
will
because of your connection with
result
Jeffrey
in a
Epstein.
defamation lawsuit
Sure,
in
I'm
an
ready for
American
it.
court and in a British
I'm
court.
ready for the
I
lawsuit.
assure you of that.
I believe
Let's
you
move
are
on to
an
Israel
old
now.
Why don't we move on to the
resolve
debate?
this in
You're an old
court.
pervert.
Let's move on
You're
to
an old
Israel.
That's really. Is there any point considering this?
Do you want to throw the towel?
No. What's the point? I'm not doing the debate you were booked to do.
Do you want to both throw the towel?
You were not booked to talk about this.
Do you want to give up?
Just debate the issues.
Let's talk about the issues.
Let's
talk
go.
about Iran. Let's talk about Iran.
Let's talk about Iran.
Okay.
Do you support Iran?
Okay, well, let me answer your question. Iran was attacked on April the 1st, right? It was attacked, the embassy of Iran was attacked in Syria by Israel. After that, on the first occasion, they then sent missiles and drones, correct? Now, my question to you is, does Iran have a right to defend itself? And if so, what is a proportionate response? Because you see, I've been having a moral quandary about the issue. Piers Morgan, what's a proportionate response for Iran?
I'll tell you what I think about Iran. I think Iran is an unbelievably nefarious place which has been fueling Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah for many years with a joint,
answer the question.
Does that have a right to defend itself?
Joint ideology that they want to eradicate Israel in any way they can.
Okay. Does it have
so
a right to
I
defend
think
itself?
Iran is one of the most despicable.
Now remember, Israel want to eradicate all Palestinians, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. So he's going to keep saying, oh, yeah, I don't care about Iran. He's not going to answer the question. Maybe he is. But their fucking fear of Iran is amazing, bro. They know they fucked up when they went and started all this shit in the Middle East. When they got kicked out of fucking Germany during when what's his name? Adolf Hitler got them kicked out. Was that what happened? Holocaust shit? Something happened back in 1948. It was something like that, right? But them niggas left Germany and they invaded Palestine. Why y'all didn't go to Poland? I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But they went to Palestine and took over. Killed a whole bunch of people. Everybody know about the Nakba and all that. Piers Morgan's pretending to not care. So when Iran's like, hey, bro, fuck y'all doing? When Iran was like, hey, I'm going to help my Muslim brothers out. You want to sit there and like call them terrorists, bro? Iran wasn't there helping out Adolf Hitler when these Jews was over there acting them up. What about the hip riots? They don't even talk about the hip riots. They don't want to talk about what happened in West Germany. Come on now. Everywhere Jews go, there's problems. I'm African American, bro. They always say shit like that. Oh, well, we got to look at these African Americans. They always cause the problems everywhere they go. Shut up, bitch. But everywhere y'all go, somebody is on y'all helmet. And at this point, you got the United States backing in the Middle East, and it's looking like your stay is solidified. But you fear Iran because you know at one point Iran could just be like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. You want to talk about my proxy groups? Israel is an American proxy group. You want to talk about Iranian proxy group? Bro, y'all can't even handle the conditions in the Middle East. So stop acting like the Middle East belong to y'all.
Does it have a right to defend itself?
In the world. I also think that right now, the Iranian regime is in serious danger.
You look completely discombobulated.
What do you mean?
You're disheveled.
I'm telling you what I think of Iran.
No,
I'm
answer
asking
the
you,
question.
do they have a right to defend
He won't even look at
themselves?
him.
Do you think they have a right to defend themselves? Both of you can answer the question. Do they have a right to defend
Answer
they were
the
attacked,
question.
The sovereign nation was attacked. My question is, does it have a right to defend itself?
Iran has been fueling
Isn't that the
attacks
question
on
you've been
Israel
asking?
now for what, 40
I've
years?
been having a moral quandary about
There you go.
I've been
40
having a moral
years.
quandary about Iran.
Have you?
Yeah, moral quandary, yes. Moral quandary, I don't know. Do they have a right to defend themselves? And if so, what is the proportionate
So you're
response?
supporting Iran, to be clear.
I'm asking you. No,
Are
I'm
you
not
supporting
I'm
Iran?
not supporting. I'm antithetical to many of
want
these
answer.
organizations for my own purposes. But my question to you,
Do you support the Iranian regime?
not unconditionally, but I support their
What
right,
conditions do you agree with them about?
their right to defend themselves. Do you believe they have a right to defend themselves?
No, because I think they're terrorists.
Oh, so they don't
there
have
it
a right
is.
to defend themselves. Iran
There
does
it
not
is.
have a right to defend itself.
They do, but they're not the ones.
So what is?
Oh, wait, no, wait, that's what you said. My bad. Wait, hold up. Bro, you're telling on yourself, bro. We get it. We get it, the mind frame of the white man. We get it. That it's deep, deep, deep rooted in hate. Hate for brown folks. We're going to come over here, we're going to have this conquest, and then we're going to kill all you, your kids, and your motherfucking relatives and all of that. If you do anything about it, we're going to call you terrorists. And if your neighbors try to help you, we're going to call them terrorists. None of y'all get to defend yourselves. We need to take over Great Britain. We need to take over. Fuck you. Decolonization is at its fucking at play right now. It's coming up at your doorstep, Pierce. You mad? You mad? You mad that white folks' power is dwindling?
Proportionate response.
They're not the ones.
What's the proportionate response?
Okay.
No,
Can I answer it?
You asked this question to the
You're just
people.
going to keep talking. Can I answer it?
What's the proportionate response?
The proportionate response to Iran is to stop them trying to destroy Israel through their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. What they've been trying to do for many years.
What is a proportionate response of Iran after their embassy was smashed
Answer
and
the
destroyed
question.
in Syria and 16 people were killed? What's the
16
proportionate
people were
Well,
killed.
what about the proportionate response to
Wow,
everything
what about-
Iran's done?
Which is against the Vienna Conventions.
What about the response to everything Iran
What
has
did
been
Iran
doing?
do
See?
to Israel?
What about-
Who did they kill? Who did this?
They always talk about whataboutism. They always talk about it. Well, what about? As soon as you say something factual, hey, bro, did you know that they did this? What about that? And it goes both ways. Both sides do it. But it's telltale that he can't answer this question. It's telling that he doesn't even want the world to know that a sovereign nation, Iran, have the right to defend themselves in their eyes. Because they don't. They don't want us to know that, because when American citizens like me is giving money to the fucking Pentagon to defend American democracy, we give it to Israel to defend their democracy. But Iran can't defend their democracy? It's crazy. It's crazy. And I feel like we can speak up because, nigga, it's our money.
Never killed anybody
Who
in
did
Iran.
they?
How deluded are you, Mohammed?
Excuse me. Hold on. Which Israeli civilian have Iran successfully targeted? Give me one name, please.
You don't think Iran's been responsible for any Israeli civilian dying?
I'm asking you to edify
What about
me.
the way they funded Hamas?
You can both
who
identify-
slaughtered
I can give you some
1,200
names.
people in Israel
Iran
on
in
October the
particular. I'm not
7th?
talking about Hamas.
See?
We've
There you go
spoken
again.
about Hamas.
They funded Hamas and destroyed 1,200 innocent people on October 7th. That's his only play. It's his only play. First of all, it wasn't 1,200 people on October 7th. They don't want to entertain the Hannibal directive. But we're going to get to that later.
Like, we're
But
talking about
I
Iran
can
now.
give
Do
you
it
some
through their
We're
specific
talking about Iran.
names.
It's old news. You're talking about
Let's let
Hamas.
Alan respond.
Yes, go ahead. Who did they successfully target?
Well,
That's
let
my
me
question.
respond.
Yeah, please, yeah.
The Iranians have been found by an Argentine court to have been guilty of killing hundreds of Israeli and Jewish people in Buenos Aires. They killed Marines through Hezbollah. They were combatant.
I was about to say, because Israel killed a lot of American military too. So you let me know. You let me know what you care about.
But the attack on the Israeli Cultural Center,
Where was
the
that?
attack on the Israeli embassy, were attacks, according to the Argentinian judicial proceedings, attacks on Israel, entitling Israel to engage in response. Now, let me explain what proportionality means, because you're missing the point. Proportionality doesn't require that a country that's attack back in proportion. Proportionality only means that if you're going to attack a mixed target that has civilians and combatants, the ratio of civilians
we
to
know
combatants
what that
must be
means.
proportional to the military value of the target. And that's what Israel has been.
No shit, Shirley. Bro, that's my problem with these dumbasses. They try to insult our intelligence. We know what proportionality means. He's asking, what is the proportional response? Because it seems to us that Iran had literally targeted military bases in Israel. They didn't target civilians like how Israel's doing, right? But if no civilians is killed in a Iranian attack, but a lot of fucking military bases were affected, how is that not a well-proportioned attack? How is that terrorism? How can y'all sit back and be, oh my God, they shot over 200 ballistic missiles, my God, oh my God, oh, no, Iran is fucking going overboard. Bro, they target legitimate targets. No, y'all just believe that you rule the world and nobody can fuck with it. It ain't working.
Trying to do, but Iran has killed thousands and thousands of Israeli and Jewish civilians over the years. So to defend somehow Iran and saying that they were innocent, even the people who were killed, even the people who were killed in the embassy were combatants who were legitimately killed.
Can you hear me or not?
As combatants.
What's an example?
So Iran has no right of self-defense against that.
Israel
was completely entitled to kill.
Let me answer what you just said.
Israel was entitled to kill any combatant that was hiding in an embassy building.
See that? Israel is entitled to kill any combatant in an embassy. That's what he said. Alan Dershowitz said it clear as day, and then he sat back and crossed his hands like, hey, listen, I don't give a fuck if y'all in a whole nother country. It doesn't matter. We have the right to attack anybody. It's us. We're big, badass Israel in America. But when who was that? The Houthis shot a rocket into Israel, and it blew up prematurely or some shit, and it got close to an American embassy. Oh yeah, that was too much. That was too much. How dare the Houthis? It's crazy, bro. And the way he just sit back and cross his arms. He thinks that embassies are legitimate targets that are, Iranian embassy, Muslim embassies, whatever. Anything that's not non-Western, right? So my question is, because I think they're going to get to it later in the video. You know what? I think I'm going to wait. No, I want to ask, because I'm going to bring it back up. October 7th, right? 1,200 people. That's what peers want to say. This was all about. 1,200 people had perished, I guess, due to Hamas hopping over a fence and doing their thing, right? How many of those 1,200 were legitimate targets? I'll let that sink. Because we all know that most, if not all, of Israeli citizens at the age of that, concert going, 18 and up, you have to enlist. Yep. Either you're going to enlist, you've enlisted already, or you on deployment or something. But a lot of those people were IDF soldiers. So you want to talk about proportionality? How many of those 1,200 were legitimate targets? I'll wait.
Hold on. You've just conflated two things. You've spoken about the Argentinian case, which there is not actual an independent international investigation on. Number one, and then you've spoken about, we speak about 1st of April. Was that a response to Argentina? It was not a response to Argentina. On the 1st of April, they bombed the Iranian embassy in Syria. They did not do so. They said that is a military base and that we're attacking. But we all know that in this country, for example, every single embassy has military attaches. They have military attaches. So if you go to the US embassy here in London, they have armed officers. Does that make it a viable target? Does it make the US embassy a viable target? The Russian embassy a viable target? This is clearly against the UN convention. It's against the Vienna Conventions.
It's
You
not.
cannot attack. No, you cannot attack. You cannot attack. You cannot attack an embassy of another nation in another sovereign land. You cannot do that. And
So let me respond to that.
No, hold on.
Let him answer.
Let me respond to that.
Sake.
Let me respond.
Piers is frustrated. It's too much fucking info. Too much juice. Piers can't handle it. Fine, let him respond. Nigga, let him finish his point. You don't mind if Alan interrupt, but that boy, he flustered, boy.
It was not an embassy. It was an ancillary building being used as a military center to plan attacks against Israel. They used the pretext of it being a building
Where's the evidence
somehow attached
to
an embassy. The evidence is very clear,
Which is-
and be happy to have them bring a lawsuit
What's the
and
evidence?
see if it
Bring
can be
the evidence.
resolved in a court of law. But
you go.
Israel was entitled to regard who was killed. The people who were killed were military people who were planning attacks on
No,
Israel.
that's not true. There were
Using an
civilians that were
annex
also
to a
killed. There were
building to
civilians
do
that
it.
were also killed.
Did that
That's not
justify
true.
3,000 rockets being sent into Israel?
Hold on. Let
and
me
then
respond.
180
Okay, have you spoken now?
ballistic missiles
Have you
being
made your
sent
point?
into Israel?
Have
No,
you
of
made your
course
point?
not.
Okay. The response is as follows. First of all, 16 people were killed officially, and of them, there were 2 civilians that were killed. So what you're saying is only military targets is flatly false, squarely false, barefaced lie. You're a liar, as you were a liar when you were defending Epstein. That's number one. Number 2 is when you say
Why
that,
are you
okay, that
shaking
was
your
a
head?
response. When Iran then, on the 14th of April, responded with missiles, once again, how many casualties were there? How many casualties were there? 0. Just like there were 0 casualties when they responded recently in October. Not one person died except for one Palestinian, ironically enough, that was apparently killed in the October one. But in the April one, no one died. It was precise strikes at military bases.
Boom. Simple. They did a precision strike. And then when all them Israelis came out of their bomb shelter, they want to say, oh, Iran is their trash. No, we didn't even lose no people. They weren't targeting people. What is wrong with y'all? Something's mentally wrong with y'all. They hit a legitimate target in Israel. All y'all bases, nigga, was just flattened. Bam, boom, boom, bam, bam, boom, 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 bam. And then as CNN was sitting there trying to report the shit, he got these motherfuckers talking about, oh, look at the interceptors. Look at the David Sling going into effect. Look at brother, stop it. We hear explosions everywhere. Them bombs was landed. Iranian bombs was landed, nigga. And you want to try to pretend like, oh, they didn't do no damage. Nobody even died. Bro, CNN had to jump off the roof. Like, we got to get out of here. These bombs getting a little close. I thought the David Sling was over there knocking them bitches out the air. No, y'all fronting. Y'all fronting and y'all can feel it. Decolonization.
2, you speak about this being a base. As I say now, if you look at Collins' dictionary right now, there's 2 aspects of what is a military base, vernacularly speaking. Number 1 is that there has to be weapons in that place, and number 2, that there has to be training of soldiers. This is usually understood as what is a military base.
That's just made up. Those are made up stories. There's no truth
What's
to
made
that
up?
at all.
What's made up? Which part
There's
of it is
no
made up?
truth to that.
Let him respond.
The fact that you need
You just
weapons.
made a statement.
No,
He's
let me
saying it's
that you
wrong.
need
No, let me
weapons
finish.
for
Let
a
me finish
what I'm saying.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Alan,
It's
please.
made up. You
Get
don't
him.
need
Hold on.
weapons to have a military base. It can be a
Okay.
command center
Hold on.
where they're planning attacks.
Let me finish.
That's just made up.
Let me finish.
Right.
If
Like Al Shifa.
we
The more
take
you say,
this-
the happier I am.
Okay. What I'm saying to you is that if you look at almost every Western government embassy in the West and outside of the West, they have military attaches. You can fact check this. You can go online. You will see in the US embassy, in the French embassy, in the British embassy, military guards, people there that have their own weapons and guns. So according to you, that would be a military base. See, are they then legitimate
No, what
targets?
happened in this
Are they
case
then
was
legitimate-
they
Can
used
we
an
then
annex of a
contravene-
building
Can we then
as a
contravene the
military
Vienna
base.
agreements? Can we then conventions? Can we
you
then?
don't know what
can
you're
we
talking
then,
about. You have
Okay,
no
hold on.
knowledge of international law or diplomacy
Wait.
law, the law of
you
war.
haven't got
so
one
please.
peer-reviewed. You don't have one peer-reviewed work on international law. And Jimmy Carter, the former U.S. president, said you have no knowledge of Palestine. Don't speak to me about Palestine and issues. Jimmy Carter,
Well,
a former president of the United States, as you acknowledge, you've written it in your book. He says that you have no knowledge of the Palestine issue.
Look at that.
Jimmy Carter said that.
No
Don't speak to me.
knowledge. he has no knowledge of the Palestinian issue. Shut up, Alan.
Well, you want to hear something?
Yeah,
it
the only
was in
thing you
my
have
book.
knowledge
In
about is
fact,
where the
it was in
doors and the
back-
rooms and the
It
masseuses
was in
are.
the back
Stop
and
it.
cover. It was in the back
Stein's
cover of
house.
my book.
Goodness sake.
That's what you have knowledge of.
I've written 13 books.
Did you touch
I've
Virginia?
Written 13
Did you touch
books
her?
on Israel.
Did you touch Virginia?
Some of which
Did
have
you
been,
touch her? Did you touch that woman?
Never heard of her. Never met her. Never met her.
Don't lie.
Never. She.
Don't lie to me. Don't. Did you touch that woman or not?
Look at his face, this little ugly motherfucking gremlin right here. I never heard of her, don't know her. Shut the fuck up, you creep.
I'm telling you, I never met her, and she acknowledged
Did you
in
touch that
writing,
woman?
under oath,
Did you
that she
sexually
may
assault her?
have
You
have no
confused
knowledge
me
of
with
his case,
someone
do you?
else.
You wouldn't be
I'm
saying
asking him a
that.
question.
You're
Okay,
repeating
so-
a
Why are you
series of
defending him?
cases.
Has he got leverage
Because he
over
won a case. It was proven to be lies.
I'm asking him a
Why are
question.
you doing this?
I'm asking you a question.
This
I'm
is all
asking you a
about
question.
Israel.
Ooh.
This is
You're
the
trying to be a
credibility
clever
of this
dick, but what you're
individual.
doing is inviting a lawsuit from Alan, which you will get.
I'm ready for it.
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
I've got 4 defamation
Good.
cases, all of which.
What makes you think people are afraid of these motherfuckers? Piers? Piers, stop. Nobody's afraid of Alan Dershowitz, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're bringing on a lawsuit, man. You better stop it. I hear they say that shit all the time. When all this shit was coming out and people were afraid to speak in opposition of Israel, they was like, "Oh, you sure you want to talk like that? Dude, you're not afraid of your life?" What? Wait. If I have a different view on Israel, my life is in the danger? I didn't know that. So what are you saying? They're terrorists or something? Like, I can't speak to Alan about some of the things in his case about this girl that just took some money and dropped the case. Like, I can't ask if he the one that said he kept the short song. I can't ask if he touched her. It's about his case. I didn't bring it up. Stop. Let that nigga sue him. All them lawsuits that nigga Alan keep coming up with. You heard a Jew, we'll sue. Go ahead, you stupid motherfucker. Because Discovery gonna be a bitch. Yes.
Your friend Douglas Murray, I'm taking him to court.
Yeah,
Good luck. I'm
Douglas.
taking on
That
Alan on
piece of
this.
shit.
Is all I would
I'm
say
ready
to
for
you.
him. Oh, you love him, don't you?
No, it's
Yeah,
just
you
one
know.
case.
I just wonder what he has.
Defending himself.
I just wonder what leverage he has. Does he have any leverage on
God,
you?
this is pathetic, man.
I don't know why you keep defending
He's
him.
now
you
accusing
haven't
me
been
of
like this before we
supporting
come on the show. Why are you
Pierce
doing it
He's a
now?
monster.
Right.
This man is a monster.
Well, why
He's a
debate then?
monster.
Because I don't mind debating monsters, just like you don't mind debating monsters. We
Right.
have that in common.
Do you want to finish the debate about the bigger picture or not?
I'm speaking about it. You guys are the ones rattled. I'm not
No
rattled.
one's rattled. We just think it's
You're
pathetic.
both rattled.
We think it's pathetic because you don't understand what you're talking about.
Really, that's
Oh,
just an assertion, really, isn't it?
No, you're just trying to get your clicks on X, and that's fine.
Oh, isn't that
But
what you
nothing
do?
you'll-
Ain't
There's
that what
nothing
you
wrong
do?
with that.
Yeah.
You know what? Try and debate the issue.
You always brag about it, my
Try
friend.
and
Yeah,
debate
You
the
brag
issue.
about it myself. We've got 1 million views, 2
got
million
it-
views. You talk about it
exactly.
all the time.
Alan, let me ask you something, which is about what Israel is doing. At the heart of it, if you take the belief that Iran is the main target here, a lot of Israelis believe that Iran is really rattled and that Israel has a genuine opportunity to topple this regime. Do you think that is a likely eventuality? Is it a thing that Israel should be pushing to do?
I think if Israel has the military capacity to destroy Iran's nuclear abilities to create a nuclear arsenal and can do it with minimum civilian casualties, the way it did it in Iraq and the way it did it in Syria, it ought to do that. But if it risks a wider war, then obviously it has to take into account other considerations and the opinions of the United States. So it's largely a military question. Israel certainly has the right.
Should Israel do a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear base? What? That's terrorism. Why? What? With minimum civilian casualties. Minimum? Bro, you talking about blowing up a nuclear site? I remember when the Ukraine war had popped off and you seen they had Russians shooting up nuclear fucking sites. They were screaming about that shit, bro. Oh, what if one blows up and we have a nuclear spill and all these people around the area? Bro, that's terrorism. You advocating for America to sign off on Israel committing terrorism in Iran, bro? Oh, y'all mad, man. I thought those 200 missiles didn't do nothing. Why y'all trying to attack their nuclear site?
To destroy Iran's nuclear capacity. Rafsanjani, the former president of Iran, said if Iran developed nuclear weapons, they would use them against Israel, kill 3 million Israelis. Israel's a one-bomb state. That would be the end of Israel. And even if Israel retaliated and killed 10 million Muslims in Tehran, the trade-off would be worth it. No country should ever accept that kind of a threat. The United States wouldn't. They didn't in the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Israel shouldn't as well. But it's a military decision, and I'm not competent to resolve whether Israel has the capacity to destroy Iran's nuclear ability without too many civilian casualties.
Okay, Mohammed, do you
That's
think
a military question.
Mohammed, do you think Hezbollah are terrorists or freedom fighters?
I have
Freedom fighters. I said it.
an antithetical view to Hezbollah, and that's been well documented in the record. However,
What's your view? I don't know.
Well, I tell you one thing. I'm not going to be baited into a sectarian debate here.
Asking you if you comment about Hezbollah.
Sure, I don't necessarily. I have an antithetical view to Hezbollah. However, on this
It's the,
case,
it's the way he's looking in the camera. Like, Pierce, come on, bro. We all know he's in the studio with you. This whole, this is for the viewers. I want to make sure I look like a news program. I got 3 people up on the screen. I got to make sure I'm looking at, bitch, look at the nigga. We're not tripping, bro. It's YouTube. Calm down. You don't have to sit there and like ask the questions of the person next to you to the camera. No, that's just stupid. You look scared. You do. I don't give a fuck. You look like a bitch. So all this well, you do you think Hezbollah terrorists or free, bro? Where did Hezbollah come from? You read the origin of Hezbollah, and you tell me if they're terrorists or freedom fighters. Because without Israel invading Lebanon, you would have no fucking Hezbollah. But you're just an idiot on purpose.
what I mean by that is that I don't necessarily support them in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
How do you
categorize them?
I categorize Hezbollah in their response to Israel as justified in that response.
And in the response for Assad in Syria against fellow Arabs?
Yeah, well, you and I both know that I have an antithetical view. I don't think that they were on the right side of history then. I do think they were acting in
So they were terrorists then?
well, I mean, it depends on how. I think the word terrorism is a social construct.
What were they when they fought for Assad against Arabs?
Oppressive, and that's on the record. There's no doubt about it. You can call whatever you want. But
so they were all the things that you would say Israel is?
When they were doing the thing with Bashar al-Assad. That is, of course, my view.
But they're only that thing when they're doing that. When they're attacking Israel, that's fine.
When they attacked Israel...
when they're attacking Arabs on behalf of Bashar al-Assad
No, but that shows consistency.
No, hang on.
Doesn't that show consistency?
No.
Why not?
It doesn't show consistency.
It shows consistency.
The inconsistency
Yeah,
is that you think that was bad, but when they're attacking Israel, that's fine.
Let's respond. On the 8th of October, you mentioned many times before in your interviews that they attacked Israel.
Yes.
They attacked Israel, right?
They did.
That's not true.
Look at how he said that shit definitively. Yeah, that's true. That's what I said. And that's what happened. You haven't heard Matt Miller at the State Department say that, Hezbollah was firing rockets on the 8th of October? At Israel, and Israel did nothing to them? And Hezbollah clearly said, nah, nigga, once y'all stop the occupation, we'll stop firing rockets. But as Mohammed Hijab is getting ready to explain, Hezbollah was firing on a occupied territory that is not owned by Israel. They claim it's theirs, but it's not. It's occupied. So yeah. Y'all feel like all weapons go, nigga, all weapons free. Shit, nigga, you want to bomb all these civilians in fucking Gaza? Nigga, this is our fucking land that y'all stole, and nigga, it says it clear as day that this is an illegal occupation. So yeah, I'm gonna fire on y'all, nigga, on October 8th. But nope, they think that was egregious for Hezbollah to do.
True. They attacked the Sheba Farms, which is occupied territory.
Which Israel has claimed as its own since 1967.
Wait a minute,
which
it's occupied territory.
Which Israel has claimed as its own.
See, this shows your lack of knowledge on the matter. It does.
Well, part of what I just said is not true. They claimed it as their own since 67.
Wait, hold on. This is occupied territory according to the UN, according to the US. It's occupied territory.
I just said Israel have claimed it as
So
its own.
what?
So
they can
what?
claim. I can claim what I want. ISIS have made many claims.
So, given Israel,
hold on. Whatever Israel claims is true. Is that what we are
shut
meant to
the
believe
fuck
here?
up.
Hezbollah has fired beyond the Sheba farms.
Now, let me explain.
Hezbollah
The
has fired
Sheba
into
farms were
Israeli
the
cities.
Hold on.
Israel
hold on,
has,
Dershowitz.
they
Dershowitz,
have
I haven't
fired
finished
into
yet.
Haifa.
Dershowitz, I haven't finished yet. On the 8th of, you talked about the 8th of October. When they fired on the 8th of October, they fired, and you can go ahead and bring evidence that they fired anywhere else other than the Sheba farms. They fired on the Sheba farms. After that, there was response from Israel. And then after that, because there was response of Israel into Lebanon, then Hezbollah attacked the northern part of Israel. This is what happened. And that is justified according to international law. So on this issue, you will not find differences between Sunnis and Shias. You will not find differences in us. We are all united in the hatred of the Zionist entity.
all right, Alan, your response to that?
Well, Hezbollah has been firing rockets at Israel for years and years under the auspices of Iran. Israel has fought back and responded, and Nasrallah has called for all the Jews of the world to be brought together into Israel so that they can be taken care of at the same time in the way that Hitler took care of the Jews of Europe. This is a genocidal claim by Nasrallah on behalf of Hezbollah, and certainly Israel had the right to respond to Hezbollah as they did. And you can quarrel with particular responses, and you can quarrel with particular responses.
Because nobody gives a shit, bro.
What the United States did after 9/11 was seen by many as an overreaction. Countries react when their civilians are murdered the way they were on.
But Iran can't react. Palestine can't react. Hezbollah can't react. Nobody else can react but Israel. Israel invaded Lebanon, killed a whole bunch of fucking people. From there was a birth of Hezbollah. Hezbollah pushed the motherfuckers off their border. Are we ever going to hold Israel accountable for their aggression? Ever? Never? Never.
Instantaneously by simply releasing the hostages and putting down their arms and calling for a genuine peace rather than a tactical ceasefire that just allows them to rearm and repeat October 7th. Remember, they said they would repeat October 7th over and over and over and over again.
They did.
And as Elie Wiesel once said, always believe the threats of your enemies more than the promises of your friends.
But Benjamin Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and all of them, they scream, kill all Palestinians from the river to the sea. Israel would be free. They want to own every piece of land. Got Benjamin Netanyahu showing maps of Israel with no West Bank and Gaza in it. But you mad that those people don't want to be exterminated?
And so Israel has to act.
Okay, let me bring
on
back
the
Mohammed.
assumption
I want to ask
that
Mohammed one
Hamas
thing.
is going to try to do this again and again.
Okay, Mohammed,
we've listened.
Mohammed, you've said so far, unless I'm wrong, you don't support Hamas, you don't support Hezbollah. So there's probably more bits of agreement here with Alan Dershowitz and me than you might like to admit if you don't support those two groups.
Okay, so I don't see what that's got to do with anything. We were
Right.
Great,
What
there's
kind of
lots of
dumbass-
observation.
We will talk about
I
October.
said at the start I wanted to find points of
talk-
agreement.
sure.
Can we all agree that Hamas and Hezbollah are a bad thing?
No.
I can agree that the white man, the Western man, has tried to use social constructs like terrorism
Yep.
to try and absolve themselves
Yep.
from all the things that they.
What would you call them, Hamas and Hezbollah?
Well, I mean, just like any human being, they can sometimes be oppressive and they can sometimes be on the right side of history.
Most human beings do not do what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Well, in the Zionist entity, they do, and they do worse
They
than that.
don't.
What?
They don't.
Israel's never committed an atrocity on that scale.
On what,
What?
scale?
On that scale.
Explain.
What?
What scale?
Killing 1,200 people.
And then he normally says, Israel would say. No. I'm not taking sides. What Israel would say. Bro, that water you carrying is getting heavy, Piers. We can see you, bro. You are literally anti-Palestinian. You are. You are. You are. I don't even want to think you pro-Israeli. I think you're just anti-Palestinian. You want to hear shit. None of Israel's atrocities, bro. You think they are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. And the shit that they do, it doesn't matter. They ain't never did no shit like that on one day. Bro, are you sick in your head? People been on your show talking about the one-day atrocities, nigga. When Israel invaded Lebanon, nigga, how many people killed in one day, motherfucker? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was over 200-something people killed in the West Bank in 2023 alone, prior to October 7th. It's over like 250 people that was killed, and a whole bunch of them were detained, hostage taken. And you mean to tell me, oh, nah, Israel ain't been doing shit. There was a ceasefire on October 6th. It was just Hamas and these Muslims, they were tripping. They woke up mad on October 7th. Nigga, stop it, bro. You're a piece of shit. And that proves that you do not value Palestinian lives. If you're going to sit there after all these fucking interviews, people coming on your show for over a year talking about Palestinian pain and how it was inflicted on them by Israel, some one-day events where multiple people were fucking killed, you're going to sit there and say, oh, that Israel ain't never did no shit like that. Come on, bro.
They've killed 40,000.
Sorry, in one day, massacring
They've killed 40,000.
Israelis that could get their hands on,
On
kidnapping
the
children,
23rd of September, what happened?
Holocaust
On the
survivors,
23rd, we were talking about October
raping and
7th.
abusing women.
There you go, raping the look, all that shit that was debunked. He keeps peddling it, bringing it back. It's a fucking robot. They raped and kidnapped Holocaust survivors. Shut the fuck up. All of it was debunked. The 40-headed baby shit, all of it debunked. They keep saying that shit, try to get it in a little conversation and see if nobody catch it. We catch it, bitch. You proving us right. You ain't got no more argument. So that propaganda that you fucking just got in your head, this program, nigga, it is fucking being debunked and debunked and debunked. And we're laughing at the fact that you can't come up with nothing else to defend this indefensible, bro. We listening, Pierce. Bro, most people know this story. If they're watching you right now debate Muhammad, Hijab, and Allen, these people know about the situation. And they know that you lying. They know you lying. Fuck out of here.
People. Oh, you don't think that happened, do you?
Well, hold on. You just said raping and abusing. We just started the show with an admission that there's a problem in Israeli society, that there was
I'm talking about Hamas.
Yeah, but you just said Israel doesn't
We
do
both condemned what you talked about earlier in relation
So why are
to
you
Israel.
saying Israel don't do that? What's wrong with you?
I didn't say that.
You just
You
said
just
that
said that.
now.
No, I didn't.
You
Yeah,
said
you did.
Israel doesn't do, and then you just listed 3 or 4 things, and that was one of the things that you just
No, I
listed.
said Israel had never...
Am I speaking a foreign tongue?
Sorry, listen to what I'm saying. I said Israel never perpetrated an atrocity on that scale.
Okay. On
In
the 23rd
one
of-
day
on the-
against the people
How many
of the
civilians?
Palestine,
How many
of
civilians?
Palestine.
How many?
They never have.
Wait, hold on. How many civilians died on October the 7th? Civilians.
Civilians about 800.
Oh, sure. All right.
But hang
Well,
on.
Hold on.
But
Let's-
nearly 7,000 more were wounded.
Sure.
800 civilians died on October 7th. You heard him. He came out with the number because, you know, Muhammad Hijab was going to try to fucking get him off of that 1,200 number. But remember, right before that, he said 1,200 people killed by Hamas. Okay. Now that we know there was 800, and we know that Israel had killed most of them because of the shelling and chopper fire. Now, this is just a Nash thing, because we could go and investigate if you ever want to fucking do a real investigation. But I want to know, because we know that they were forced to enlist. How many of the 800 that were hurt or killed were actually IDF soldiers? How many? Because we know that the Hannibal Directive, right? We know that it was implemented, right? We know that. We're not stupid like Piers Morgan. But we also know that they don't implement it unless they're on their own soldiers. They're military targets. They want to make sure that their military do not get kidnapped so the enemy will have upper hand, right? Right? That's just a thing. They will damn not kill no innocent Israeli with no fucking shelling, right? I mean, I'm asking. I don't know. I didn't read it. But are you going to tell me they're going to bring the Hannibal directive over to kill some non-IDF soldiers? No. They're going to take out their own. Since they did implement the Hannibal directive, how many of those 800 were legitimate targets?
Sure.
7,000.
What happened on the 23rd of September?
Were wounded.
What happened on the 23rd of September?
7,000.
Okay, sure.
Think about that number.
Okay, no problem.
That's the scale of people who were attacked on that day.
Are we talking over each other? It's 2-on-1 now.
8,000 people were attacked.
No problem. On the 23rd.
One of the most horrendous terror
There you go
attacks
again. Say it again.
Or is it a dialogue?
history. I'm telling you some
was it?
facts.
I know the facts.
You may not like
No, was it?
but I'm telling you them.
It was a
Okay,
military
I'm telling you,
operation.
On the 23rd of September, Israel attacked Lebanon. How many people died? How many civilians died, according to the Lebanese health?
How many?
The Ministry of Health.
I believe it's about 2,000 was the last recorded number I saw.
No, in one day. On the 23rd of September by itself.
Including combatants, including many combatants.
No, on
They
the
haven't
23rd, how many died?
distinguished between combatants.
How many
died? Why don't we have
we don't know how
year
many
commemorating
civilians
the
died.
23rd of a year commemorating the 23rd of September?
Right.
Since we're having a year commemorating the 7th of October, and about 600 people died, 650 people, civilians died on that day. That's quite close, isn't it?
We don't know they're
8,000.
civilians. They don't
8,000?
distinguish between
8,000
civilians
people
and
were
combatants.
attacked.
There you
We're
go.
not talking
Fucking
about
robot.
attack.
He can't even look at him. This is a piece of shit. No, 8,000. I don't care how many fucking Lebanese died. I don't care. 8,000 were hurt. 900 were injured and killed, and 600 of them were civil. Bro, you a piece of shit. That's why you don't want to look at him. That's why your ass is fucking scared, because you know you ain't got no fucking talking points that's going to make sense. You don't. He's asking you a complete fucking legitimate question. You talking about October 7th. We're commemorating it. It's been a year. Over 1,200 people were harmed. How many people, since we okay with doing the whataboutism, how many people were killed when IDF invaded Lebanon? We don't care, they're brown.
We're talking about dead. What's wrong with you? Why are you not looking at me again? You're crying. Are you crying?
He's
The
crying.
viewers are seeing the three of us together.
I see that
Mohammed.
there's tears in your eyes.
There are no tears in my eyes.
What's going on?
There's a slight sense of exasperation.
Oh,
Sure,
God.
there should be. Because
Yes.
you are employing...
What do you think I am?
You're a piece of shit.
You said it yourself with your interview with Mehdi Hassan. I think you're just biased. You talked about tribes.
Who am I biased against?
You're biased against anything anti-Western.
Yep.
Clearly. You said
Clearly.
What a ridiculous statement.
because
Yeah,
you
that's
said
true.
it yourself. You said the reason why you have such and such a view with Russia
Do
and
you think I was
Ukraine.
biased when I led the media campaign against the Iraq War?
It don't matter.
No, I think you were
Was I
good.
biased against
You were
brown
good.
people
You were,
then?
you were good then.
It don't matter.
You were-
But yeah, what does that mean? You're against the Iraq War. Okay, what about the civilians? The citizens of Iraq? You think that they weren't supposed to revolt? Piers Morgan was critical. But no, everybody that revolted in Iraq was a Muslim terrorist, right? Right? They have no right to defend themselves, right? But Piers Morgan, well, no. What you didn't see my work back then? I was against the Iraq War. Your words don't mean fuck to nobody. Because the people that are actually dealing with it, yes, they're getting radicalized. Yes, they're trying to defend themselves. Yes, they fucking turned away from American values. Nigga didn't want to fucking take over some American embassies and get all the weapons that we sent over there, snatch them up, and now they're using them weapons to kill the motherfuckers over there. But you think, oh, well, I was against it, so you don't even know my record. Okay, we all are with you. But what makes you think that the Iraqis wasn't going to defend themselves? Same thing in Gaza, bro. Y'all keep talking about these settlements. I disagree with them. Okay, what about the lady that actually lost her house? Fuck your disagreeing. Bitch, women, men, and children, they're losing their home. They got to sleep on the street. If they fight back, they're going to get shot. And all you're going to say is, oh, I'm against that. Fuck you. Because we don't care what you're against. Because if you're against it, then you should look the other way when the people that are not afraid are willing to fight back. Bitch ass.
I
I was good then because you agreed with me.
Sure, because
Yeah.
you're on the side of truth. Just like I could say Hezbollah was not on the side of truth in 2013, but they're on the side of truth today. I can say this, and even though they're Muslims just like me, just like I can say that Hamas is wrong for doing such and such a thing, but they're right on such and such a thing. I can say all these things. You should be able to do the same thing.
What have Hamas been right about?
Resisting, because they're occupied territory. If they had just attacked,
They were given
targets,
billions of dollars in 2005
Okay.
when they took charge in.
Of course.
the
Have they got a right to defend
Hang
themselves?
on.
Against military
When they
targets?
took charge of the Palestinian people and had power from 2005, they got billions of dollars. And what they did with that money was spend it on tunnels, which
Okay.
they built
So?
around civilians.
Sure, so
What's
what?
wrong
So that they could then launch a horrendous terror
What's wrong with
attack.
that?
Okay.
And they knew when Israel
We've
came after
spoken
them.
about the terror attack.
Hang on.
See, that's that white imperialistic mentality. Like, oh, wait, y'all not supposed to be having defense. What are y'all doing? Nigga, you supposed to go and build like hotels for our tourists to come by and chill at. Fuck. Because we all know if they would have built a military base above ground, nigga, the fucking tractors would have been blown up. There wouldn't have been no buildings yet. They would have been grading a nice little area. Straight dirt. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting ready to build a military base right here. You think Israel's going to be okay with that? Come on now. Really? Of course they had to build their defense underground, you stupid motherfucker. But you don't want nobody to defend themselves but Westerners.
When Israel
flogging a
then,
dead horse.
when Israel then came after them after October the 7th, they knew, because they'd embedded themselves on the tunnels
But
around
you
civilians,
you're flogging a
that
dead
a
horse.
lot of Palestinians would get slaughtered in the
Okay.
process.
My question
and
is-
that's exactly what's
My
happened.
question to you, does Palestine have a right to defend itself? Does Hamas have a right to defend itself exclusively against military targets?
Everybody has the right to defend themselves.
Okay.
So
what does that
Hamas
look
can
like?
do that against military targets?
What they did on October 7th is not self-defense.
How is it
was
not?
a terror attack.
Hold on.
How?
Is that
I'm
saying
not
Al
talking- no, no,
Qaeda?
no,
How?
I'm not-
See?
no,
That's saying
that's
Al
not my
Qaeda
question.
had the right to
But
do
that's
it
not, that's not
on September.
We both agreed that the civilian death is something we should both condemn. Yeah? We're talking about areas of agreement. You just said it yourself. I'm saying now, do you agree that Hamas has the right, because they're an occupied territory, Gaza's an occupied territory, according to the UK, by the way, they're an occupied territory because of effective military control. According to the UK
They
and
ended their occupation in 2005.
No, hold on.
They ended the
You're meant to be
occupation in
intelligent. You're meant to
2005.
know this fact. According to the UK government, according
I
to
know
the
the
US
fact.
government, and you can check it up online, and according to the UN, all three organizations, Gaza is an occupied territory because there is no, because they have control over the borders, they have control
Right.
of the population.
But I've said
because
this many
of the
times,
the sea, all
Mohammed.
that kind of- So, sure, you agree.
Okay.
with me. You said it recently.
Let me
You
give
know,
you
I've
the
said many
facts.
times
Let me
that I
give you the
believe that
facts.
what we
Let me give you
Israel
the facts,
maintain-
please. Can I give you the facts?
Yes, you can respond.
Let me
Alan,
give
yeah.
you the facts.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, the facts are in 2005, I was there in Israel when the Israeli government
Are you sure you were not in Epstein's house?
uprooted every single civilian,
Let me just say
every
it.
single
Stupid.
dead person
he was
who
in
was
Epstein's
buried
house.
there.
Getting a massage.
Not a single soldier, not a single policeman was in Gaza. Gaza could have become
Might have been a
the
prepubescent
most
child
beautiful
giving him that
spot
massage.
on the Mediterranean, Singapore on the Mediterranean. Then Hamas engaged in a military coup in which they murdered members of the Palestinian Authority, took over Gaza, and start sending rockets into Israel. It was only then that Israel began to control the borders and make sure that tunnels couldn't be built. They failed in that respect, that weapons couldn't be brought in. Gaza was not an occupied territory. It was a free territory between 2005
Stop it, bro. They can
and the
cut
time
off
that
the
Hamas
water
took
and
over.
the food.
And so
So is
the
it occupied
fault
now or not?
all
Is it
lies
occupied
with
now? According
Hamas
to you, is it
for
occupied now or not?
creating a
Is
territory
Gaza an
in
occupied
which
territory right now, or is it
Hamas
not?
imprisoned.
He's not answering my question.
It's not
right?
an occupied territory.
It's not. Okay. Is it
No.
an occupied territory according to
No.
the UN, the UK, and the US? Yes or no? It's a factual statement.
Not the U.S. The U.S. doesn't
No,
agree
it
with
does.
that.
It
You're
does.
wrong
You see
about
that-
that. The U.S.
That's why.
doesn't
Yes, it
That's why
does.
you've had
No,
to
it doesn't.
Yes, it
plagiarize
is.
books in order
No.
to make your case from Joan Peters
Wait,
and
what are you saying
and
again? Say
Finkelstein
that again.
caught you out. You've had to plagiarize books because you're clearly your knowledge on this
Okay,
issue.
Look at him.
now we
yeah,
have another.
for your
Now we have
age
another
is
count.
ridiculous.
Look at his fingers.
The-
Look at his fingers. Say that again. Say it again. Oh my God, you are just one sicko looking son of a bitch, man. You shouldn't even be talking shit to people, bro. You gonna threaten another lawsuit if you plagiarize the book, nigga? Then you plagiarize the book. Why are you gonna like try to spend money to prove your point, nigga? It is what it is. Get out of your fucking feelings, bro. Let the nigga talk. If it's a lie, it's a lie. But if nigga ain't nobody supports you, Alan. Nobody. There's not a soul on earth that is supporting Alan Dershowitz. So if you're gonna sit there and think that you're gonna have a defamation case because Muhammad Hijab says something inflammatory about you that's gonna cause people to not fuck with you when nobody fucks with you, then nigga, you got a whole nother thing coming. Because in defamation, what you're gonna have to do is prove damages. And I'm not a lawyer, and I know that shit. So go ahead, keep like threatening litigation. He was a scary piece of shit.
According to the U.S.,
Now we have
Gaza,
another count.
the West Bank, and East Jerusalem
Wait a minute. We have another
an
count
occupied
in the
territory.
lawsuit against you. You've accused me of plagiarism, even though Harvard University conducted a thorough and complete study,
Just
totally
do it.
vindicated
if you're
me,
going to do something,
and blamed
do
it on Finkelstein, who then lost tenure for making a false charge against me of plagiarism. But
you
you're repeating
plagiarized
that
Joan
charge.
Peters'
Count
book.
2.
No problem. That's according to
What?
Norman
I plagiarized
Finkelstein,
my own
who
book?
debated you on Democracy Now! You plagiarized that book, and he showed you evidence in that debate. That's one thing. The second thing is,
The Harvard University did a thorough study, found out that Finkelstein
matter.
had made
It
up
doesn't
the
matter.
Let him
charges.
respond. If you're going to
As
make
the
these
result,
allegations,
he
Alan can
lost
respond.
his position as a professor, but you've accused me of plagiarism. Count 2 in the civil
I'm ready.
case that I will be
I'm
filing against you.
I know defamation laws in this country.
You
more than
clearly
you know.
don't.
Yes, I do.
clearly
I've had 4 cases. And moreover,
Damn, Pierce, like, bro, let them go at it. Why they can't go at it? You are literally injecting yourself as a Alan Dershowitz supporter or apologist, bro. Nobody on earth fucks with Alan Dershowitz, bro. Let this nigga go down in history for being a disgusting piece of shit. Let him. What are you salvaging this nigga's fucking history, career, whatever the fucking his whole life fucking resume for? Fuck him. Fuck him. Nobody cares. His OJ shit, nobody cares about Alan Dershowitz. But you, bro. So yeah, defamation. Come on now, countersue. You countersue? That's when once you start countersuing these motherfuckers, they're gonna shut the fuck up.
been the person taking the other person to court, including your good friend Douglas Murray, which I've got 2 cases against him. But what I'll tell you is that you probably know nothing about defamation law, just like you have no information, no knowledge, no peer-reviewed journal on international law. You're completely dumb on these issues, because if you're saying to me
55 books. I've written 55 books, many of them prize-winning books.
You're not an authority in international law. Are you an authority in international law?
And I have won defamation cases.
Are you a scholarly authority in
on
international
the
law?
First Amendment?
All right, we're going around the houses. Alan, let me ask you this. One of the many problems I have with what Israel's been doing in terms of the scale of what it's been doing, but also what has been going on the West Bank with the increased settlements, very aggressive expansion of settlements, I think is completely outrageous.
What?
I agree.
But once again, you said before.
Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, we can. But
Wait. Huh? You guys agree? Pierce, wait, whoa, hold on. Pierce. Let me ask you. You think these settlement advances are new? You think this is like a post-October 7th type of thing? Because you think they're egregious, right? You disagree with them. Alan agrees with you that these motherfuckers are horrible. But the people that are losing their homes, they can't express how they feel about it. Every time they say it, you say, shut up. So what? Oh, well, yeah, you crying. So what? So when years upon years of settlement expansion was happening, people kept coming up to the PLO and the UN and all these other motherfuckers. I bet you, Piers Morgan yourself, didn't cover that shit. So what happened, bro? Somebody else fucking say, you know what, we're done. Y'all not listening to us? Fuck it. We're done. And people started reacting. Y'all cover this shit all the time. You want to call these people detainees, right? They're detained in Israeli detention centers, right? And then we ask, all right, well, what the fuck was they charged with? right? You got to have a charge, right? We just said 3,000 of them, none of them niggas had charge, but we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt that some of these people were arrested legitimately, right? And then you want to hear what some of these people are? These are like babies. Some of them are like 5 years old. They're locked up in the Israeli detention center. And guess what the fucking number one reason is? I wouldn't say the number one, but the majority of the time that someone had done a crime in Palestine, it was throwing rocks at a soldier. And I said this in one of my other videos, like, bro, if the West Bank is not occupied, you mean to tell me that these Israeli children and old women are like going to a military base with a bag full of rocks, my nigga, and just chucking it at IDF soldiers? Is that what y'all think? Or is it that when they leave in their fucking house or go to the store real quick or school or something and they're harassed by a fucking military personnel that they fucking have to fend for themselves with not even a weapon? Something right next to them that they can defend themselves with. A fucking rock. You bitches say it clear as day. Oh no, they were throwing rocks at soldiers. No, they were defending themselves with a rock. Lock them up. Lock them up. So yes, Hamas wasn't having it. People wasn't having it no more. Stop. Get the fuck up out of here. So they hopped over the fence, told the whole world what was going on. Now look at y'all. Look at y'all. Y'all trying to say, oh no, we were supposed to detain all these little kids, man. These are little rebels. They're little terrorists. They was fucking harming IDF soldiers in the West Bank when they throw rocks at them. And the Geneva Convention says it clear as day that you can resist your oppressor. What does that resistance look like, Pierce? You act like there were stories of a whole mob of Palestinians tackling a fucking IDF soldier and taking their guns from them and shooting up a tank. Like, no, these stories are literally innocent kids with rocks that y'all feel like they should be arrested indefinitely. And nobody should come to their rescue. Fuck out of here.
Well, Alan's agreed on that.
I am opposed to Israel's policies on the West Bank. I think Israel should continue a military occupation of the West Bank, just like I thought it should have continued a military occupation of Gaza. But I'm opposed and have been opposed to civilian settlements since 1967. Right? And I'd like to see them ended in a process that leads to a two-state solution. By the way, I'm curious whether my fellow guest here supports the right of Israel to exist as the nation state of the Jewish people alongside a Palestinian state. Do you agree that Israel has the right to exist as the nation state of the Jewish people?
All right, I'll answer it. Let me answer this question. This is just an ass thing. Then I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Now, why don't you ask the citizens? It's their country. Ask the Palestinians. What would they want? I don't live out there. I just send my money. That's why I feel like I have an opinion. I can. But if you ask Ash, I think we should go ahead and let God decide. Yeah, let God decide. Make it a one state. We'll call it Philistine. Let's go ahead and bring it back a few thousand years. Let's call it Philistine, and then we'll just say there's just a group of people here, black folks, Israelites. You know what I'm saying? We got some Jewish folks, some Christians, you know what I'm saying? Some motherfucking some Muslims, all in this one beautiful area we're gonna call Philistine, right? And then we'll let the birth rate control the population and see if these white folks can keep up.
Yes or no?
I think it's a viable option. In 2002, not just Hamas agreed to this, by the way, in what's called the Arab Initiative. The Arab
Convention. They didn't.
Hold on, you've just asked me a question. You've asked me a question. You can check me. You can fact check me. In 2002, there was something called the Arab Convention. And in fact, Iran itself was part of it, even though it's not an Arab country, but it was part of the 2002 Arab Convention. And they both said, so long as Israel does not occupy Gaza, it does not occupy the Golan Heights, and it does not occupy the West Bank, which you just advocated for, then there can be a two-state solution. Even Hamas, Hezbollah mentioned the same thing.
That's
That
totally
Hezbollah
false.
mentioned this point.
That's totally false.
Hezbollah mentioned this, and
Well,
Iran
have
agreed with
they-
it, and members of the EU
recently
agreed with it. Hold on.
recognized-
Members of the IOC.
Have they recently recognized Israel's right to exist? Has Iran recognized Israel's right to exist now? I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I'm talking about
Nigga, Israel don't recognize Palestinians' right to exist. That's the problem. That's the problem with y'all. And I'm done with this shit. Because, bro, it's going to be the same old bullshit over and over and over again. Yes, we get it. We get it. We think y'all don't. I think we believe that the end of days are here. I think everybody knows it. And I think you guys are solidifying your stay or your leave with God. I don't know if people think the return of God is going to be like some beam, like some heaven beam's going to come down to one place, and that place is going to be Israel, and everybody that's there is going to get lifted up like that movie Left Behind, and everybody else is just going to be down on earth to deal with all the bullshit. I think that's how they believe it, because this end of days shit, it fucks with everybody. Like, for them to think that they're the chosen ones, they're the chosen ones. But they're fighting for this place. Like, how are you even? You're not even Aboriginals. Most of y'all are Brooklyn Jews. Like, come on, pale as shit. They got the thinnest beard. Have you seen what do they call it? A rabbi? Them rabbis, boy, they look malnourished. They're like this big. Their beard is thin as hell. You can see their chin through everybody's beard, bro. Y'all don't belong there. Come on now. God is telling y'all straight up, your fucking birth rate is dropping off a fucking cliff. You can't even eat the native bread without having no gluten issues. Stop. You're not superior to nobody. And for y'all to sit there and complain about America having negative shit to say about y'all atrocities. Bro, I pay taxes that go to a fucking something called the Davis Sling, a defense system called the Davis Sling. Think about that. I'm American. We have a separation of state and church. We have that. The separation. I don't have to believe in your Bible, but you mean to tell me I have to send money to you for your David Sling? Nigga, get the fuck out of here. Abraham Accords. Who's the Abraham in Abraham Accords? Bro, I don't want to spend money on your biblical war. And if I could find some fancy way to make a case out of this, I think it was a First Amendment violation of the Constitution, because there's a separation of church and state.